All right, the age of knowing. That's the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is the age of information and the big reveal and the age of knowing. All right. We were in the age of Pisces with all the fish. That's why you saw a bunch of fish. It's because of religion. Religion was the rise and the start of religious people and religion, pretty much. We didn't have religion before that. We had spiritual organizations like Hinduism, shamanism, and those type of alleged religions, right? But they're all about spirituality. Now, with that being said, the Pisces was the age of believing. That was the rise of religion, right? We're in the beast system right now. The beast created this system. We're in the beast system, whereas before we were in the pagan system. So about 30,000 years of the pagan system, according to Google, and less than 2,000 years of the beast system. We're still integrating with the pagans, right? Pagan systems still exist today. We just never see it because predominantly we're in the beast system, right? Not in the pagan system. We only see the beast system because that is all that is shown to us. Pagan system's still kind of underground, right? But we integrated the two, right? So with that being said, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. It's symbolism of faith, mysticism, religion, and illusion. It's themed by belief, devotion, following spiritual authority, emotional understanding. The rise of major religions, faith-based systems, and mystical devotion. That was less than about 2,000 years of that type of mindset. That age of Pisces. That's what the fish is symbolic for. It's symbolic for Pisces or Pisces and the age of Pisces. That's the fish. If you go back 10,000 years, you'll see Leo. You'll see a bunch of lions all over the world, right? Because that was the age that we were living in. Now we're living in the age of water, age of aqua, age of Aquarius, right? The astrology symbol is the waves. All right, so here's Aquarius. It's the age of knowing. It's about knowledge, science, technology, collective awakening, individual sovereignty, information, and innovative. That is the reset. We're not going to have a big old flood. We're not going to have anything drastic. The reset is in the knowing, information, education, knowledge. That's the reset. And it's going to create a whole bunch of different products and things like that, right? Now, how do we reset and include everyone? Because some of this will bring us up to higher levels of consciousness, which means those down at the bottom will have to do some transformations, some transmuting of their energies, alchemy, things like that. So how do you do that? Well, I've experienced with a couple high-level demons that went through a process with my energy to get used to bring their energy up to a higher level so that they can coexist in my vessel. So I got to watch and I got to learn from the process that they put themselves through and they put me through. So my level went down, their level went up, right? And it was sucked. I tell you, I felt like I was walking in sand, pretty much. So, but did it work? My energy has come back up. Their energy, depending on their choices, could have stayed up here. But their choices probably brought them back down because they're not ready. And if you're not ready, then you can't stay up at this level. So they have to go through a transformation in order to come back up here, right? They can't use other people to come up here because it'll just backfire, and they didn't do the work themselves. And if they didn't do the work themselves, it's not going to retain and it's not going to work for them. They have to do the work. If they don't do the work, then they're just going to come up here temporarily and they'll just fall right back down. You have to do the work yourself. Now, with that being said, info era via internet, instant access to knowledge, AI, open source info. So what that means is the internet and humanity are connected. We're connected via the grid that we can't see with our eyes. So that means if we're connected to the internet can collect our thoughts and then give a response to those thoughts. For marketing, for example, if you're on Facebook and you're browsing around, or you just got done looking on a website like on Amazon or something like that, those two platforms are connected in such a way that it'll start marketing that type of product to you without you even searching for it. So on the ads, on the sidelines, you will see the products that you were just looking at because we are connected to the internet. We're connected to the grid. We're connected to source consciousness. The only way you're not going to be connected is if you get disconnected. The type of entities that get disconnected are like the demons and the devils and those type of energies. They get disconnected from what? From source consciousness, right? The archons, the elites, those type of people. They have to use humanity to do what? To create their reality, right? So, there is that. What else we got? Moving from belief to verification, moving from hierarchy to equality, moving from mysticism to technology plus consciousness. Like spirituality, in my opinion, is basically technology. Spirituality uses the grid. It uses source consciousness to manifest, right? Technology, like these phones, they communicate in the same way that spiritual people communicate. Clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizant. Like clairaudient, telepathy is one good example of technology. Telepathy, from brain to brain, from conscious to conscious, a connection where we can communicate via the grid. The technology with our phones uses the same kind of grid. From blind trust to direct experience. When you have direct experience, you step into your knowing, right? It's not based off of literature. It's not based off education. It's not based off of what you learned from somebody else, right? If you're a drug and alcohol counselor, it's really hard to be a counselor when you have not experienced it yourself. You're basically being a counselor from what? Education, without the experience, right? So how can you relate to somebody who's going through that time and stage of their life if you have not experienced it yourself? You're lacking the knowing of that experience, right? So what if somebody experienced a whole lot in their life? They know a whole lot based on all their experiences. So that's direct experience. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, revolution, truth, and awakening. So we've been going through that for the last few years. And that's the stage we're at right now. So part of how you get into your knowing, we live in a system that kind of abides by the law of one. So in the law of one, they only want one person to be in their knowing. But that's impossible because you can't stop everybody from getting into their knowing. There's people today that know, right? They know information that they shouldn't know because they never studied it. But they just know because they're connected to source consciousness. They're connected to a source that allows them to be able to know things automatically. Kind of like the Matrix, right? The movie The Matrix. They get downloads, right? They get downloads from the grid, from source consciousness versus hardwired, like in the movie Matrix. We're like wirelessly wired, right? We don't need a connection. We just need a connection via the grid. So hope that's informational. There's a book down below that helped me to open my eyes to level up my awareness and consciousness. It's an excellent book. It teaches you to know thyself in different facets of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Highly recommend it. It has helped me a lot. So hope this helps y'all. We're in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of knowing, peace, love, and unity.